Hello, guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Vijeta, and today I will be talking about Gone with the Wind some more because I think in my last video there are some aspects of it that I couldn't cover. And the thing is that Gone with the Wind in itself, if we talk about the quality of the novel and the characters, the the sketching of the characters that has been done in the novel is unbelievable, which is the reason why it creates a long lasting impact on the reader. The book is like 3,000, 2,000, how many pages? Yeah, it's like almost like 2,000 pages long. And if a book is this long, one might expect that quite a lot has been shared in the book. Besides that, the book is written in a very good fashion, by which I mean the dialogues, the sentences, the third person narration, everything is very appropriate, as I already told in my last video. Besides that, I liked one thing about this book, which is that the author has tried to explain each and every character's history, and by history I mean their families. For instance, Scarlett O'Hara's father, Gerald O'Hara, is an Irishman, and her mother is uh, Elaine, I think Alan, not Elaine, it's Alan Robillard. She's from a French aristocratic family. And when we see Scarlett and the decisions that she has to make, like vital decisions that she has to make in her life, we see those two natures at war with each other. She wishes to be a lady like her mother, Alan. She wants to be decent. She wants to be respectable. She wants to have that pride in her manners, in those aristocratic manners, in those honorable notions. But her practical side also kicks in. The practical side that she has inherited from Gerard. And it's quite interesting to see this kind of dynamic, the way Margaret has tried to show this thing. I mean, she has not only told it, she has also shown it. You see, Alan, she fires her overseer when she comes to know that he basically impregnated a poor white woman, Emily Slattery. I think her name is Emily Slattery. I think that. Yeah, so that is that. Although Gerald is kind of wanting to make it slide away. He doesn't want to, fire such a good overseer. But Alan is Alan. She never shies away from her duties. She tends to her servants whenever they are sick or ill, or she goes to the people who are like the poor people. She is basically like a princess, and and she does her duties very well, like a queen, like a princess. Basically, she's Lady Diana herself. And Alan has this notion that people around her should feel safe and protected. Although Gerald is also a good person, he has a very soft heart, and it is told in the book that Gerald doesn't show his kindness because he's kind of shy about showing his soft side, but he has a good heart. But Gerald's pride is quite different from Alan's pride. You see, the difference is right in front of you. Alan doesn't shy away from showing kindness, showing love. Although she's not a passionate kind of a woman, she is not a, how to say, she shows her love and she shows her affection in a very dignified, aristocratic manner. Whereas Gerard, on the other hand, he is a kind man. He pays off the debts of his friends' sons. He shows kindness to poor boys, even kindness to animals. But he doesn't wishes to show that. He doesn't want people to know that he has a kind heart because in his mind, he thinks that showing kindness or showing his soft side would mean that he's weak. That was his upbringing. That was how he was raised. And a lot of it has to do with the war that happened in Ireland, and a lot of this thing has to if you want to trace that thing, that why Gerald is like this, his family history is such that all of his brothers are very tall, muscular, like tall, manly men, kind of men, and he is like the runt of the litter. That is the specific sentence that has been used in the novel. He has a short height, and he's like the youngest son, and he has like put himself in some scrapes as well. So he, from his childhood itself, he has felt like somewhat lacking when he compares himself to his other brothers. So maybe that's the reason why he doesn't want to show his kindness. He also always wants to show a rough exterior. And this is what I like about this book. Like this book has like a whole family history of all the people that are there. And not only that, it doesn't make the book very how can I say, boring. It adds to the story. You kind of start understanding why this person is like this, because the author at the exact time takes you back to that family history, or that part of the family history that is relevant to the plot or to the situation that is going on in the story. So that placing of information is something that has been done by the author very well. Like this is a craft. She has done it very craftily also, because she wants to strike you at the right moment. Like when you're feeling like, why is Gerald being so weird? Or when you're feeling angry at some person, the author Margaret takes you back to his family history and tries to explain, give the reason. Although she's not, I won't say, I can't tell that is she justifying the actions or not, but she's stating those facts. So that is something that I personally found quite interesting. I mean, it it is true that nothing can justify a person's actions, even if they've had a traumatic childhood or a traumatic history. But on the other hand, I liked this thing about this book. Like this book was one of the first book in which I saw this kind of comparison done by the author, wherein you get to see a family history, a family situation. Like in Scarlett's case, her mother, Alan Robillard and Gerald O'Hara, they're two drastically different personalities, and those two personalities coming together in Scarlet and making a war in her heart, in her breast, as some romantics would say. So that is something that's interesting. Similarly, if we talk about Ashley Wilkes, Ashley Wilkes is this dreamy a boy who loves books, music. He has had his European tour, and the whole family is like that. Like Gerard says this to Scarlett when he realizes that Scarlett is in love with Ashley. He says that you would never understand Ashley because Ashley has a mind of his own. Even not only Ashley, his whole family is like that. They are a family of basically. Gerald is trying to say that Ashley's family is a family of intellectuals, and Scarlett would always be at a distance from Ashley because Scarlett is not a intellectual kind of a woman. Intellectual in the sense she is not a book learned person. She has more of a practical side to her. So in that way, Gerald is actually right, and which is the reason why Ashley and Melanie are so good for each other. Although the Tartan's mother, I have forgotten her name, Mrs. Tartan, she also has a valid point. She says to Gerard that Ashley and Melanie should not get married because they all of their families, like Ashley and Melanie, are cousins, and if they are going to marry in each other's families, they would never grow. Although she is, although again, I would say that Mrs. Tarleton is not talking about the intellectual side. She is more of talking about the physical aspect of it because she's a horse breeder and she kind of becomes inappropriate when she is talking about why two different breeds of horses should be uh, taken together to bear children in the same way. Two different families should come together, should get married, so that their offspring is more pretty, more beautiful, and more hearty. She is like she explains everything in the horse jargon because she is like a horse breeder, a great horsewoman. But when I read that sentence, I kind of thought about how this thing can be applied to the intellectual or the how can I say, like the intellectual side, or maybe in this way that if a person who has a different mind to your own, if those two people come together, it kind of reminds me of the marriage of heaven and hell, or William Blake's without contraries, there can be no progression. And with the marriage of Wilkses, like the Ashley Wilkses and Melanie Hamiltons, who all are like Melanie's brother is destined, not destined, he has been engaged to marry Ashley's sister. So all of them are cousins and all of them are marrying. So the thing is that all of them have a similar upbringing. They all have been brought up in an European style of education. They have had a very intellectual household. They are very quiet people, music lovers, Mozart lovers, Shakespeare lovers, all that kind of thing. And due to this thing of all of them being of a similar mind, I feel that Mrs. Starleton's notion that a different family should be married in Ashley's family stands somewhat correct, because I think that without contraries, there can be no progression. And Melanie and Ashley marrying each other, although they are quite good for each other, but I see some slips in Ashley's character, because he kind of slips twice when he kisses Scarlett once and then again. It seems that even Ashley's mind is revolting against this thing. It seems that Ashley is also a slave in himself. It seems that something inside Ashley is also at war with each other. He wishes to confine to his family's notions and ideals and all the principles. He wishes to confine to the path that has already been set for him, and yet, he goes back to something that he could not have. He is attracted to the opposite, because you see, Ashley was the first person who, in the whole party, when the barbecue that happened, he said that wars only bring misery to the world, and I am not in support of the war. And he kind of upsets a lot of gentlemen, but yet he says that. But then again, he's the person who goes and fights very bravely. He goes and fights. Again, he marries Melanie. He and it's not like he is just doing it because his father wanted to or his family wanted him to be. He wanted it himself because it gave him a sense of comfort. It gave him a sense of security that yes, with Melanie everything is predictable. With Scarlett, he did want Scarlett. He did love Scarlett, but he did not wish to take that risk of going against what is already set out for him. He did not wish for a change. He did not wish for the war, and yet he fought. He did not wish to marry Melanie. He did not wish to um, lead on Scarlett, and yet he did. So with Ashley also, these contraries can be seen. Like there are some opposing notions fighting in his breast as well, if I could say that. And this kind of contrary can be seen in Red Butler, which is very prominent in the book. That thing is not subtle. Even with Melanie as well, there is this contradictory things that one can see. Melanie is like the ideal girl who does everything right and never puts her wrong foot forward. But yet, she is the only person who actually supports Scarlett in all her inappropriate things, doings, inappropriate according to those times. Like she is the one who supports Scarlett when Scarlett goes out to the bazaar and then she dances with Red, although she is like a widow who is not in mourning for 1 year. She supports Scarlett in uh, allowing her in making everybody shut up, basically, by telling Scarlett that she could wear any colored clothes she wants. She is the only one who supports Scarlett. That is something that Melanie, who has these ideas and who actually believes in her ideals, that is something that is quite surprising from Melanie, because Scarlett is somebody who just sways from the path that has been laid out for her. And at times it becomes really inappropriate for the people who are witnessing that, or the people who are standing next to her. But Melanie is the one who actually supports Scarlett in everything. So you can see there are contraries in Melanie as well. And with Red Butler, contraries after contraries. Red Butler is the one, the blockader who is bringing in goods, but later it is revealed that he was making his own fortune through the war. But at the last time, at the end time, Red Butler decides to go for the war. I don't know if it was his notion of honor or something. Red is the only person who loved Scarlet from the beginning to the end. And when finally Scarlet confesses her love for him, Red is the one who is like, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. I mean, Red was the person for whom everybody was rooting that he will love Scarlet no matter what. But at the last moment, Red just flips a coin. Like he flips like a coin and he's like, I am done with you. So these contraries, this idea of contraries that is present in these four prominent characters, be it Scarlet, Ashley, Red, and even Melanie, is something that I saw that I realized after reading these books. And just what I said, that Scarlett's contraries come up from her family of opposite people who got married. With regards to Ashley, not much is there given about his mother and his father, even Melanie also. But I feel that with Ashley and Melanie, maybe their book reading, their intellectual knowledge, their intellectual prowess have made them have developed their minds so much that maybe they could see those contraries in themselves and they have embraced those contraries, and they are kind of subconsciously working according to those contraries, thinking them that that is the right path. With Red Butler, I feel that he's too much of a self-aware person, and he knows what he is doing. He is aware of whatever he is doing. Even with Scarlett at the end, when he refuses her, I think that decision was made owing to his self-respect and owing to his mental health, if you want to use a contemporary term. So I think this, without contraries, there is no progression. That theme goes very well with this novel and with these four characters. So that was my analysis of this theme in the characters of Gone with the Wind. If you understood or if you were patient enough to sit through with my whole discussion, thank you so much. And if you like the video, please like it. And I will meet you all in the next video. Thank you.